Once, the name Blockbuster was synonymous with home entertainment. A Friday night ritual for millions, its bright blue and yellow facade promised a world of cinematic adventure. Blockbuster was not just a chain, it was an empire, a retail giant that seemed invincible. Yet, by 2010, this titan would file for bankruptcy, its stores shuttered, its legacy reduced to a cautionary tale. How did a company so dominant fall so far, so fast? The answer lies in a single, pivotal decision: the rejection of Netflix. At its peak, Blockbuster commanded an unprecedented market share, a true powerhouse in the late 1990s and early 2000s. The numbers speak volumes about its global reach and operational scale. In the year 2000, the same year a fateful offer would arrive, Blockbuster was at its absolute pinnacle, embodying the conventional wisdom of retail success. Its strategy of ubiquitous physical locations seemed unassailable, a testament to its understanding of consumer habits, or so it believed. Blockbuster's business model was brilliantly simple and highly profitable for its era. It relied on a vast inventory of VHS tapes and later DVDs, distributed across thousands of strategically located stores. Customers would browse aisles, pick their desired films, and return them a few days later. This model generated significant revenue, peaking at nearly $6 billion in 2004, showcasing its operational efficiency and deep market penetration. However, hidden within this success were vulnerabilities that would soon be exposed by a nascent competitor. A critical, yet increasingly contentious, component of Blockbuster's revenue stream was its infamous late fees. While customers often despised them, these penalties were far from negligible for the company's bottom line. Estimates suggest that a substantial 15 to 16% of Blockbuster's total revenue was derived directly from these charges. This reliance created a perverse incentive, prioritizing short-term financial gains from punitive fees over long-term customer satisfaction and loyalty. It was a strategy that would ultimately alienate its core audience. While Blockbuster was basking in its retail glory, a small, unassuming startup was quietly laying the groundwork for a revolution. Netflix, founded by Reed Hastings and Mark Randolph, emerged with a radically different vision: DVD by mail. Instead of driving to a physical store, customers would receive movies delivered directly to their doorstep. It was a novel concept, targeting convenience and circumventing the very friction points Blockbuster's model, particularly its late fees, had created. Netflix offered a glimpse into a future where convenience trumped immediacy. The year was 2000. Netflix, still in its infancy, faced the daunting challenge of scaling its innovative model against Blockbuster's entrenched dominance. Recognizing the immense market power of the incumbent, Netflix founders Reed Hastings and Mark Randolph made a daring proposition. They offered to sell their fledgling company to Blockbuster for a mere $50 million. This wasn't just a sale, it was an invitation for Blockbuster to acquire the future, to integrate a complementary service that addressed its own model's weaknesses, and to neutralize a potential threat. The response from Blockbuster's leadership, specifically CEO John Antioco and his executive team, has become the stuff of business legend. Instead of recognizing the potential, they saw only a niche service with an unproven model. Accounts from those present describe a scene of dismissiveness. Netflix's founders were reportedly laughed out of the room. This moment wasn't just a rejection, it was a profound failure of vision, a refusal to acknowledge an emerging paradigm that would ultimately unravel their entire empire. Blockbuster's rejection of Netflix wasn't merely a missed opportunity, it represented a deeper strategic blindness. Leadership failed to foresee the shift from physical media to digital delivery and severely underestimated the appeal of a subscription-based, no-late-fee model. They clung to the existing, profitable physical rental business, believing its scale and brand recognition made it impervious to new forms of competition. This myopic focus on the past prevented them from adapting to evolving consumer preferences and technological advancements that were already on the horizon. Undeterred by Blockbuster's dismissal, Netflix continued to refine its disruptive model. Its core appeal was straightforward and powerful, addressing the very frustrations Blockbuster customers endured. By offering a flat monthly fee for unlimited rentals with no late fees, Netflix removed the financial anxiety associated with video rentals. This subscription-based approach cultivated customer loyalty and encouraged consumption, creating a far more satisfying user experience. It was a direct challenge to the incumbent's revenue model, built on convenience, predictability, and a customer-first philosophy. While Blockbuster remained confident in its brick-and-mortar dominance, Netflix was steadily, yet surely, gaining momentum. The elegance of its subscription model resonated deeply with a growing segment of the population tired of trips to the video store and exasperated by late fees. By 2004, just 4 years after the infamous rejection, Netflix had amassed a significant subscriber base, demonstrating the viability and burgeoning popularity of its disruptive approach. These early adopters were evangelists, spreading the word about a better way to rent movies. Facing undeniable evidence of Netflix's success, Blockbuster eventually attempted to counter. In 2004, it launched Blockbuster Online, a DVD-by-mail service mirroring Netflix's model. However, this move was characterized by hesitancy and a fundamental misunderstanding of the competitive landscape. Blockbuster Online struggled to differentiate itself and was hampered by internal conflicts and a deeply ingrained retail culture. While Netflix had 4 years to refine its operation and build customer loyalty, Blockbuster was playing catch-up, late to the game and lacking conviction in its own new venture. Blockbuster's steadfast commitment to its physical retail empire became its greatest liability. The company had invested heavily in thousands of stores, vast inventories, and an extensive staff. This represented a classic sunk cost fallacy, where past investments, no matter how substantial, should not dictate future strategy. Blockbuster found itself unable to pivot decisively, held captive by the very infrastructure that had once defined its success. Liquidating stores and shifting focus would have been a painful, costly process, but clinging to them proved fatal. The continued reliance on late fees, even as Netflix offered a penalty-free alternative, fueled a growing wave of customer dissatisfaction. The perceived unfairness of these charges, coupled with the inconvenience of physical returns, eroded Blockbuster's brand loyalty. Consumers were increasingly voting with their wallets, choosing Netflix for its superior customer experience. While Blockbuster's executives may have seen late fees as a reliable revenue stream, they were, in fact, an anchor, dragging the company down as the tide of consumer preference shifted irreversibly towards convenience and transparency. By the late 2000s, the financial strain on Blockbuster became unsustainable. Years of declining revenue from its core business, coupled with costly attempts to compete in the online space and maintain its vast physical footprint, led to a staggering accumulation of debt. By 2010, the company found itself burdened with over $900 million in debt. This immense financial pressure left little room for strategic maneuver or the necessary investments in innovation required to stay relevant in a rapidly changing market. The company was bleeding cash. The weight of debt, coupled with relentless competition from Netflix and the broader shift to digital streaming, proved too much for Blockbuster to bear. In September 2010, the once indomitable video rental giant filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. This wasn't merely a business setback, it was the symbolic end of an era, a vivid illustration of how quickly market leadership can erode when innovation is ignored and customer needs are dismissed. The blue and yellow empire had crumbled, a stark reminder of the perils of corporate hubris. In stark contrast to Blockbuster's collapse, Netflix was experiencing a meteoric rise. While Blockbuster struggled with debt and obsolescence, Netflix had successfully transitioned from DVD by mail to pioneering video streaming. By the same year Blockbuster filed for bankruptcy, Netflix's subscriber base had exploded to 16 million, and its market capitalization soared to approximately $8 billion. This growth wasn't just incremental, it was exponential, validating its early vision and the strategic decisions Blockbuster had so carelessly dismissed. Following its bankruptcy, the remnants of Blockbuster were eventually acquired by Dish Network in 2011 for $320 million. This acquisition, a fraction of Blockbuster's peak valuation, marked a final, ignominious chapter. Dish attempted to leverage the Blockbuster brand for its own streaming services, but the brand's equity had been irrevocably tarnished. The once dominant chain effectively vanished, leaving behind only a handful of independent franchise stores, a poignant reminder of what happens when a market leader fails to innovate and misjudges a competitor. Blockbuster's story is a profound case study in the true cost of corporate complacency and a failure to adapt. Their strategic mistakes were manifold, underestimating emergent threats, over-relying on a diminishing revenue stream like late fees, and being too slow to embrace digital transformation. They saw Netflix as a minor player, not a harbinger of a fundamental shift in consumer behavior and technology. This hubris, rooted in past success, blinded them to the future and ultimately sealed their fate. The Blockbuster saga offers crucial lessons for any business. Firstly, never underestimate small, agile competitors, they often embody the future. Secondly, prioritize customer experience over short-term revenue tactics that create friction. And most importantly, always be willing to disrupt your own business model before someone else does. Blockbuster had the opportunity to own the future of video rental for a paltry sum. Its refusal illustrates that even market leaders must innovate relentlessly, or risk being swept away by the currents of technological and cultural change. Today, Netflix is a global entertainment powerhouse, with a market capitalization far exceeding Blockbuster's wildest dreams. The story of Blockbuster and Netflix serves as a timeless parable in the annals of business strategy. It highlights the profound consequences of a single, fateful decision made in a boardroom in 2000. Blockbuster's failure to recognize Netflix's potential, to embrace change, and to listen to its customers not only led to its own demise but fundamentally reshaped the entertainment industry forever. A $50 million missed opportunity, costing billions.